Hi everyone, Zara Altair, the Story Bodyguard. And right time is a time for authors, writers, screenwriters to come and talk about story. And if you want to tell everyone about your story, you're certainly welcome to do that. And to talk about writing in general. And today I thought I'd focus on Act Two, which is really a problem for a lot of writers. That it's like, you know how to get the story set up and you know how to get your characters in there, and then you just like rush to the end because you know what the end is. But the mid part of the story is the part that keeps your audience engaged. So whether you're writing a screenplay or you're writing a novel, um, the same the same qualities apply. So Act Two is setting up those complications that get your protagonist into trouble. I think that's the easiest way to say it. So, the Act One is get your hero up a tree, and Act Two is throw rocks at him. And that's exactly what happens in Act Two. You just keep building complications. And as Act Two begins, you're bringing your audience and your protagonist into a special world, the world of the story. Okay, now we know what that protagonist's life is like, what their main activities are. We've seen them in their regular world. We know who their friends are for the most part. And Act Two is where things really start to happen. And this is where complications arise, not only for the protagonist, but for other people in the story. So, one character that often appears right about this time is what is called the guardian at the gate, who gives the hero trouble for what's going on and the decisions that the protagonist has made so far. Hi, Dave Fox. If you want to hop into the seat, go ahead. At the very least, that guardian at the gate, the one who's like telling the protagonist, uh-oh, hey, you better check out what you're doing. That guardian is going to give them some conflict. It can be, a minor conflict, but it's like, ratchets up the tension. If the whole progress of Act Two is really building continual opposition, like whatever kind of story you're telling, there's opposition that's presented, and somehow your protagonist has to deal with that opposition, often unsuccessfully. So the protagonist is challenged, he rises to the challenge, and really doesn't get what he or she thinks he wants to accomplish. And then also at this point in time, you're going to reinforce the genre of the story. So if it's a comedy, you're going to add comedic events. If it's a thriller, we're going to have some scary stuff. You want to reinforce for the audience or your reader the tone of the story itself. Also, this is often a time where the protagonist gathers around the other members of their team, their clan, their friends. Hi, Globejotter. Thanks for popping in. And let's see, more of creative nonfiction. All right, so just lurk away, but thanks for joining us. And so at this time, as the protagonist gathers his team, he's also going to be learning new skills, and the team members have skills that protagonist doesn't have, and there's often some kind of training. In a romantic comedy, the heroine may, go through a way of having new makeup or getting a new wardrobe or working out more or doing, stuff that the protagonist so far hasn't been doing in their life. And this is the time when they take those things on, learn new skills, and readjust themselves, all with the help of the people that are in the story. And as part of that, there's usually a series of tests. So there's the thing that the protagonist needs to know or to do, and then a testing of those things, not the actual antagonist himself or herself, but a testing of these new skills. And oftentimes the protagonist doesn't do those skills so well, and his team members hop on board and point out shortcomings and at the same time encouragement. Often at this time there's some kind of scene. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as a battle, but it's some kind of scene that really tests the protagonist's new skills, and this is often the entry to the midpoint of the story. I'm just going to focus here on the first part of Act 2 because it's so often the place where people don't know what to do when they're getting their story together. So there's some kind of big challenge, and it often mirrors the challenge toward the end. Hi, Dragon. Wow, good to see you. It often mirrors some kind of challenge near the end, and usually takes that protagonist right to the midpoint. Let's see what else I can say. There's also one of the elements that you can do either with props or scenes or comments from the team members or even comments from the antagonist or one of the antagonist's henchmen, followers, whatever, is a foreshadowing of what's coming in that third act, or even the final part of the second part of part 2. Whoa, it's all getting very complicated. Dragon, you want to come in and chat about story for a minute? Okay. You're zooming in. There you are. Hi.
Hello. I hear two voices here. Is that yours?
I'm sorry?
Wait. Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, it's fine. Two windows was open. Okay. So how are you today?
I'm fine. I'm good. Yeah.
So what's the blub? Right time? What that means?
No, it's just a time for writers to talk about writing and story. Exactly.
Okay, I'm not a writer. I don't know nothing about it.
Yeah, right. You're a very prolific writer. So I know that you just recently returned from the London Screenwriters Festival. Any points you'd like to share with other people that you learned that by attending?
Okay. You want to hear positive or negative sides?
Well, I don't want a critique of the festival itself. You can do that in a minute, but right now, do you have any tips that you learned for writers while you were there?
The tips will be the best approach. It will be if you have some credits. So did you do some short movies, or to do somebody who is actor, somebody who has direct something like a pitching, like a project. So that's because they already open. They already gonna listen to you. They'll open more than if you're just first writer. That's my idea. Yes, pitch needs to be better if the English guy pitching. Okay, my English is perfect, but still, and I think sometimes they will not get me as they should. So
Okay.
if you are Indian guy,
yeah, and you have another point. Okay.
If you're Indian or Asian with a bad accent going there, I think you're already wasting your money. You're not in their box. It is international. I think Europeans are English are part of the Europe, but still accent is different. So this is
So you felt that having an accent was a hindrance?
I did not. When I was talking with somebody like a real face to face, when I'm not in rush, I don't have this problem. But if you're doing this in 2 minutes, you can have this trouble. Then again, I was talking with three persons. They liked the story, but they told me that I need introduce the story with the characters, who is, as you was talking before I came, protagonist and antagonist. Yeah, that these two things. Because when I pitch the story, I'm giving like a bird perspective. Okay, this he gonna meet that. So basically, all of them are I don't know what's the English word for. They use the same shape of description. Okay, so they want to hear you starting with Zara is the Zara and what the Zara gonna do, and another okay, like Zara is protagonist and antagonist is dragon. So they want that you explain them in that way.
Right. And I think another tip for writers, we're talking about log lines and pitches and getting the essence of your story out right away. And that is that when you're introducing your story to a perfect stranger, that it's better even to not use the name. You don't need the name. You need to tell the essence of what that character embodies. So it would be, an unemployed dressmaker.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. So basically, you need to start with this who is the main one and what he's gonna do, and not including the with who is he gonna be.
Right. The main character, what he's gonna do, and then what the challenge is. What the challenge is.
Yes. And for sure, the title, genre, and log line in the version of the who is inside the story, not really action, not a really action part, like a phrase, like a bone of it. It's more like what the major characters gonna do. That's and that's what I noticed. Another thing, it's more about. They say it's more about relationship than a pitch, which is true, because those people maybe will not open to you if they don't like you personally. So you need to start with a little bit charm, like a few seconds, and they want what you. One guy say I asked him, what do you want me? I'm a practical. What do you want me? What do you like, science fiction or crime comedy? And then she replied me, what you more passionate about it. So it's not selling. It's not a selling. It's a really to make them have to make them to make more welcome. That you charm them, and then the story. Because I met some girl who has really horror story for me. I personally, if I'm producer, I will not even talk with her. But she get 8 people who wants to read the story. For me personally, she has nothing to show, but it works. So it's really and it's really what they're related to. So you can't pitch them what they don't want to hear. So really, the extraordinary thing I was thinking it really works in this industry, but it's not. So maybe something more like a grounded what they really like. If they do the comedy, give them the comedy. If they're doing the science fiction, give them the science fiction.
Right. I think that's a really good point. Dragon was talking about his experience at the London Screenwriters Festival, but this also applies for book conferences and writer conferences as well, that you need to be by Globetrotter. Thanks for being here. You need to really target the people with whom you make connections so that they are interested in the same genre that you produce. It makes for a more immediate connection.
Yes.
What do you think Dragon is a key to relating to people? Because yes, the film industry in particular is very relationship oriented. Like, who you know is really important, and how you meet people and network with them is really important.
The network is really good. You can really meet people who are your size, but you need to be open. You need to be talkative. You need to be friendly. Me personally, I'm totally different personality. I'm really, my goal is my goal. If you cannot follow my frequency, there's nothing to talk. So 80% people who are there are just normal people, everyday people, and they like to hang up, they like to talk about everything, not even talk about the movies. I'm not like that. So I really pitch. I'm only focused on the pitch, but then again, I can have also my own difficulty, which there's somebody else who are not really pitching the story. He goes around, and then when they become a friendship, they're gonna listen. But also the networking on open space, I notice many writers talk. If I talk with the writer, I mean, we can have really good friendship, but there is no result. But the people who are really a little bit in film business, they come there to talk with bigger producers. If they talk with the writer, you are not their league, you know. And even if you come to the big producer, he doesn't want even open any conversation about you talking about your movies, because he already know you want to pitch me here in the bar. So there's I can scan the people. I know what's going on there. So you really need to the strategy. It's easy, but you need to go there like no expectation, and you get really.
Yeah, I think that's really good good feedback for people. Is when you go to any kind of writing conference, you need to go with no expectations. That way, you can actually enjoy the event and
Yes.
Stay open to whatever might be happening that would interest you, and stay open to people. How much of your networking? I have a question for you, Dragon. How much of your networking was? How much of your networking was at the actual conference, festival itself, and how much was, like, say, in bars, you know, when the day was over?
I didn't even go there, but I met one guy who's very your age actually, and the only one I was I was really talking with because he was really, I think he's really like a people who been through the really harsh time, like a bad time, and he really what he did, he gave me his story. He found on the internet some forums. He met some writer, American writer and he really liked his script, and he pitching in his name. And I really like this guy, and we hang up, and I told him for next time I'm not gonna give you, you're gonna pitch them. So what I noticed, really good to have somebody to present you. If you can be really good writer, but if this guy has credits and he knows how to talk, so for next time I want a presenter. I don't want trouble myself with it. So about the networking again, the last night, so we missed the main party. Then we go to the bar. It was brilliant. It was inside the on the table was the only one guy who really gave me the credit. The Visa card. He's a funny guy. He likes to drink. He likes to talk with the people. I pitched him one of my story. We was the same level. When I come to the bar, he recognized me. I couldn't believe that. He called me. He is the guy who blow ups everybody because I pitched him the Russian drift. You know about it. So he actually gave me the nickname, and we really had a good. We had really one few drinks. I could probably stay with him until the morning. You know, he's. And actually, so this is it. The other guys, other producers, which is probably much more serious, you know, like elite type. I didn't see them too much on this networking in the bar, but maybe they were in the lobby of the festival. But my energy was too down. I didn't want to even try more because it's not really talent show. It's not really talent festival. It's really about, don't expect anything. You're gonna learn something for sure. What the workshops, it was some, basically it's all about prepare you how to be friendship, how to write the story. For me, I already feel like I already been through this. So I just want to do the score. I want to sell it, buy me, and let's go. So it's not this way. So basically, if you don't have expectation, if you want to learn something, for people who are first time there, this is brilliant. They're gonna learn a lot. And people who are really have like a few connections, like a 2-3 of them, like a team, and they already meet somebody and they can talk on the level. Yes, I did this. I think they can really do big network there. For me, like an individual pirate, let's call it like that, with this guy who really can understand my story, it was work. It was like tables on festival in the lobby. It was tables where you can discuss and talk about script. It was, they call it like a Euroscript. One guy, I talked with him. He's also older guy. Me and he had a really wonderful conversation. It take me 15 minutes, not like a 5-minute speech. I don't understand what's about 5-minute pitch for me. It really means nothing. I mean, can you really introduce yourself in 5 minutes? I don't know who even made that. So me and this guy had like a 15-minute talk, and he really loved the story and everything. Okay, this for example was very good. I was pitching my science fiction story to 2-3 persons. They really love it. Good. But the affiliates one about astrology. But one lady told me, I can't sell this in America. I don't deal with America. It's kind of American movie. And one guy, he asked me to give him the paper about. Is he gonna call me? I don't know. And the other ones, I try pitch you remember the Gaming in the Milan didn't work, not at all. I don't know why. Because maybe it's really, maybe, I don't know, it's just maybe too much different than it is. The Russian drift, I gave it to this guy who's a guy, he really understands me. I tried Russian drift with the 2 ladies, didn't work. I think for the lady, the female and male, this Russian drift is too, I don't know, maybe if I said in a normal way, pitching like a protagonist is maybe it's gonna work. But the way how I was pitching, like giving them the full story, Russian drift needs to be different, explain it. Yeah. So comedy, Russian drift.
that's a learning experience of, different styles of pitching too. So, so it's just a learning.
But just to give you an idea, yeah, okay.
Characters in that particular story. So, yeah, for pitching, you really need to be short. You really need to bring them into the story and then let them ask questions. Jorge.
Hi, what's his name? Hello, George. Do you want? Oh, we got a George. Yeah. He's banking guy. Hello, George. How are you?
Hello, people.
Hello. Are you a writer?
No, I don't see.
I have written a few articles.
Mm-hmm.
My interest really is in economics and money.
Do you know Do you know something about bitcoins?
A little bit, yes.
Okay.
There was a really interesting article in The Economist this week about blockchains. Did you read that?
Well, I read a lot about economics, and in reference to Bitcoin, well, it's good that it's not under control of the powers to be. It is a creation of IT.
Right.
At this moment, it's I find it very volatile, and I don't know. I am for the traditional type of money, the sound money, gold and silver, because what we have today, we have a world of craziness. The price discovery was lost. So when somebody says this car, this building, this stock is worth this much, who can really who can really present the real value of that when we use a type of money that has no value?
Right. So
that's
why I'm suggesting that you find that article about blockchains in The Economist.
About which one?
Blockchain.
Blockchain?
Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting article, and it also discusses some of the pros and cons of Bitcoin and how it works, and what some of the, well, to use old terminology, what some of the checks and balances are within that system. So I think you'd find that really interesting. I just wanted to let you know, Jorge, that this is a blab about writing. And so we try to stay focused on that. But I thought you might like to know about that article because it's in this week's Economist, and it is very interesting.
Okay. Yeah. I have read some about it. So, well, I was just trying to find something that will interest me. And I came in because you guys invited me, but that's fine. I do actually would love to write a book. Mm-hmm. Because there is a tremendous need in the world for information about money, and especially away from English speaking, away from the English speaking population. I am Hispanic by birth, so my mother language is Espanol,
Hmm.
and there is really not too much information in that sense for that sector of the population. So that's something
In
that.
Spanish.
Pardon?
Okay.
In Spanish.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, George.
Right.
If you really want to write a book, Zara, it's front of you. She's professional. If you need any advice, how to write the bones, how to write the chapters, she's there for you. So just follow her. So let's shortly try to suck the story of your money and economics. Who will be the hero, for example?
Well, actually, I belong to a group that follow the teachings of an 85-year-old man.
Uh,
His
can
name
you,
is his name is Nelson Nash.
you say chicken? I didn't understand the word. What you said? Can you repeat?
Malcolm Nash.
The group.
Yeah, I belong to a group of people that
Okay.
follow the teachings.
What's that?
Teachings.
Teaching, like a teaching.
The teachings, the education.
Ah, okay, teachers. Okay. You belong to a group of
Right.
teachers. Okay.
No, I don't belong to a group of teachers. I follow the teachings of Nelson Nash,
Ah, okay.
which is the one that created a process that actually is being presented as step number 2 to solve the world debt problem.
Can you put his name in the comments?
Sure.
That'd be great.
So I didn't understand what they do. They teaching the people about solving the problems. Did I get it wrong?
Not economic problems, yeah. Nelson Nash. Okay.
So
Thank you.
for example, when people are in trouble, they help them or they introduce them with the problems in before the problem comes.
Well, the problem is everything that we do economically in life is financed. And the central bankers and the commercial banks control financing. And everything that we do in life is finance. So we need to take back control of the financing issue or the financing the financing
The structure of finance.
yeah, in our lives when we're going to start a business, when we go on a trip, when we want to go to college, when we buy a house, when we buy a car, all that is finance. And banks take a chunk out of all those transactions. And it doesn't have to be that way. If we build enough capital, if we build enough funds, we can finance ourselves and recapture that money that is paid to banks for the financing. And the reason it happens is because they have worked for many years to get society away from building savings. They have told society, you don't have to prive yourself from having what you want today. Just spend it. Because when you need money to buy something, I'm here, your friendly banker.
Mm.
So people.
So one of the basic premises of Nelson Nash's theory is the importance of saving, and is that saving cash and saving cash outside of the banking system. Is that correct?
It's correct in most of it. And he wrote a book that he has sold more than 200,000 copies. I'm going to put the title in the comments there.
Your own banker. All right.
And what this is really is not a bank, it's a process. And because if you define banking is the creation of a pool of money and the use of it to finance projects or needs, developing some profit to keep and grow that pool of money. That's basically banking. And if you're going to do banking, then we have to look for the best platform to do that, to create and grow a pool of money and use it to finance our needs and projects. And that's what the process teaches for you to become your own banker and finance your needs and projects with your own capital.
George, can I ask you something?
Yes.
I know the Spain, it's really in a big financial crisis. What hit you that you really need all of this?
Well, I am not from Spain. I'm from South America. But what happened with the Spanish people is that they just went too crazy with borrowing, because that borrowing being facilitated by central banks by making money very cheap. So people borrow and buy stuff, and that's what created the bubble in real estate, that people were able to get loans from banks, buy houses that they couldn't afford, but the idea is that they could sell it in a short time and make a good profit. And it was done for a while till we got to a point that the houses were too expensive for somebody to buy them.
I know. I'm from Croatia. We have similar problem. We are not in big trouble like Spain is, but in Greece, I heard this before.
Where are you in South America?
Well, I am from South America, but I am living in Houston, Texas.
Where South America's big?
I was born in Colombia.
Colombia. Are you there now?
No, I'm in Houston, Texas.
Oh, you're in Houston, Texas now. Okay.
Yes. I have lived in the U.S. for almost 30 years.
More hello to you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, Morpheus, do you want to come in?
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invite.
You're welcome, Jorge.
I'll let me see. How is that I follow you here? Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm following you. All right, see you.
All
George,
right.
Thank you, Dragon.
Thank you.
George, you are your own banker. You're gonna do your own transfer money without using the real banks. Okay, you heard for where the website while I don't know the website. Anyways, to make cheap transfer, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, and don't take a loans because you don't know are they gonna charge you more than 2-3 years. Yeah.
Well, the reality of that is that when we take a loan from the bank or we deposit money in the bank, we are part of the problem because that's how they create free money.
Yeah, so you can use another currency. You can use Bitcoins. It's a free. Doesn't go to the banks. It's not centralized.
Yeah, it's an alternative. I respect Bitcoin. I'm not on it yet. I'm not too crazy about it, but I respect it because it's an alternative and much better than the papers with pictures of presidents that are worth nothing that we are forced to use, and so that's
Yes.
really that's really why I
George,
respect Bitcoin.
George, I'm with you totally. I'm having no problem with the loans with the money, but I have problem with the bureaucracy in another way. Okay, for example, I want to sell my screenplay. I need to prove myself who I am. I to talk with Zara. I'm with you totally, but to be honest with you, from my point of perspective, it's not going to change nothing. I mean, maybe you're not going to like this what I said, but it's nothing going to change because they are much more powerful, and there's maybe 5% of this alternative people who wants to do something. Not going to change anything, and even if you change, even you're going to become the same like them because you need to put the order. I think the natural process of putting the order, and then you hurt everybody around, but nobody see this around. Do you follow me a little bit?
Well, part of my passion is that by practicing privatized banking or becoming your own banker, we are actually creating a change without
Oh, did he lock up?
having to create big meetings to protest or any violence. Can secede from banks and become part of the solution. Because again, when we deposit into a bank or take a loan from the bank, we are part of the problem.
I follow
because
you.
That's how they
the only solution will be that all of us stop using the central bank, and everything will be without them. But I'm telling you again, 80% people using this system, they get used to it. To make them to go alternative version in 1,000 years maybe.
Well, it is a matter of education. Unfortunately, the state and the powers to be have the upper hand on it because they have control of that, of education and communication and money and security.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. In nature, there is hierarchy everywhere, so you cannot skip the hierarchy. So if they are the boss, they are boss. But this boss is already programmed all people, even the new generation. That's what I'm saying. This your group, I understand your concept of thinking, but you can't compete with this, with the 80% who already has program in mind. We're gonna use this system.
Well, there is a scientific study that with 10% of individuals that have the right thinking and they are passionate about it, it
The
is
revolution.
possible to create
Did you
a
watch?
change. So that's
Did
what
you watch?
that's what we're aiming for.
Did you watch any
We're aiming for
spaghetti
10%.
westerns movie like Good, Bad, and Ugly? Did you watch the another
Yes,
movie
I
about
did.
the explosive guy? What was the title? The piston something. When they used revolution to break the bank. Did you watch that movie? It's the same producer. It's a three movies. It's a three: Good, Bad, and Ugly, and
Probably.
one happens in America, and the third one it's about the explosive guy. Do you know? Did you watch that movie? You should
I
watch
don't
that anyway.
recall
It's a good
the
one.
title
So
of
that
that.
they use the revolution to crack the bank. I follow you 100%, but I think the consuming is very massive. It's not gonna change because we already been maybe two times in this in this situation. So what was in which year the bank crash? You maybe know better than I do. 70s, I don't know. Nothing changed. They do it again. So I'm telling you, they're gonna do it in 20 years again. It's just what it is.
Yeah, it's a cycle. Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm going to stop the recording. Okay.